and not just to live. Beloved, there will come days when the ground beneath you feels unsteady. Times when your strength runs dry and your laughter seems lost somewhere in yesterday, and not just to live. You will look around and see the pieces of your life scattered, and you will wonder if you are meant to stay broken. Life has a way of pressing us, of testing us, and not just to live, of placing us in the fire. And in those moments, when life breaks you, you will feel as though you are standing on the edge of yourself, with nothing left to hold on to. And not just to live, but here is a truth you must carry: being broken does not mean you are finished. A seed must split before it can grow roots. And not just to live, the shell of an egg must crack before life inside can emerge. The dawn only comes after the deepest night. In the same way, and not just to live, your breaking is not your ending, it is the place where your becoming begins. Yes, beloved, the pain of being broken is real. The disappointment, the betrayal, the loss, the failure. It can take the air out of your lungs. You may cry until your pillow is wet, until your voice is hoarse, until you feel empty. And still, the hurt lingers. But I tell you this: do not curse the breaking. For though it feels cruel, it is shaping you in ways you cannot yet see. When life breaks you, and not just to live, it strips away the illusions you once held so tightly. It removes the people who are only with you for a season. It reveals the truth about what really matters, and not just to live, and it leaves you with yourself, your raw, unpolished, authentic self. And though that feels lonely, it is also the place of rebirth. And think of the clay in the hands of the potter. It must be pressed, spun, and even placed in fire before it takes its final form. Without the breaking, the clay remains shapeless. Without just to the fire, it cannot hold water. So it is with you. Beloved, here pain is not always punishment. Sometimes, pain is preparation. And not just to live, it is preparing you to carry greater blessings. It is preparing you to understand deeper truths. It is preparing you to stand taller than you ever imagined. And not just to live, but when life breaks you, you must decide: will you stay broken, or will you rebuild? Some people stay in the ashes of their brokenness, and not just to live. They replay the pain again and again until it becomes their story, their identity, their cage. But you, beloved, you were not created to remain in ruins, and not just you were created to rise. You must gather the broken pieces of yourself, not to glue them back into the person you once were, but to create someone new, someone wiser, and not just to live, someone stronger. For you cannot go back. You can only go forward. When you rebuild, you will notice something: you no longer crave the things that once distracted you. And not just to live, you no longer bow to the opinions that once imprisoned you. You no longer chase the shallow applause of others. And not just to live, because the breaking taught you that peace is greater than popularity, truth is greater than approval, and love, real love, is greater than anything else. Beloved, and breaking teaches wisdom. The broken heart teaches you compassion. The broken dream teaches you resilience. The broken friendship teaches you discernment. And the broken season teaches you patience. Every scar becomes a teacher. Every wound becomes a reminder that you survived. And here is the most beautiful truth of all: lo, you are destined to rise. No storm lasts forever. No night refuses to end. No wound is beyond healing. The fact that you are still breathing means your story is not finished. The fact that you are still here means your strength is greater than your struggle. So when life breaks you, let it. Cry if you must. Rest if you must. But do not surrender, and not just to live. For this breaking is not to destroy you, it is to deliver you. It is not to bury you, it is to plant you. And just like a seed buried in the soil, it's to live. You will rise again, stronger, brighter, more alive than ever before. One day you will look back at this season, and you will not curse it. You will whisper, and not just to live, thank you. For it taught you that your power was never in what you lost, but in what you gained. It taught you that brokenness was not your enemy, but your doorway to transformation. Beloved, life will break you, but you, my friend, will rise. Not in spite of the breaking, but because of it. And when you rise, and not just to live, walk gently, for you will carry the wisdom of the storm, and you will know that no broken soul is ever beyond healing. Beloved, there are moments in life that feel like the end, and not just to live, moments when the weight of loss, disappointment, or failure crushes so heavily upon the spirit that you wonder if you will ever stand again. And not just to live, it feels like your dreams have shattered, like your hope has cracked, like your very being has splintered into pieces too small to gather. And in those moments, and the temptation is to believe the lie that brokenness means finality, that because you are broken, you are finished. That because your heart aches, it cannot beat again, and not just to live. That because the plan failed, there is no path forward. But beloved, let me remind you, being broken does not mean being finished. And breaking is not the conclusion of your story. It is the place where transformation begins. Consider the seed. On the outside it is whole, hard, and small, and not just to live. But the life within it cannot emerge till the shell breaks. The breaking feels like destruction, but it is creation, and not just to live. What looks like the end of the seed is the birth of the root. What looks like a shattering is actually an awakening. So it is with you, and not just to live. When life cracks you open, it is not robbing you of your worth. It is revealing what was hidden inside. When your plans collapse, it is not always punishment, and not just to live, but preparation for something greater. When your heart breaks, it is not a sign that love has died forever, and that your spirit is being expanded to receive more than you imagined. Yes, beloved, the breaking hurts. There is no denying the pain of it. Tears may blur your vision. Silence may echo louder than words. Loneliness may wrap itself around you like a heavy cloak. But let me tell you, you are not finished. Being broken means you are in process. It means you are being reshaped, remolded, refined. Fire may burn, but it also purifies. Pressure may wait, but it also forms diamonds. Breaking may wound, but it also awakens. Think of the butterfly. The caterpillar must surrender itself, dissolve completely, and allow its form to be undone. To the naked eye, it looks like death, like an ending. And not inside the cocoon. Transformation is taking place. Wings are forming, colors are being painted, freedom is being prepared. And not just to live. What looks like the breaking of the caterpillar is actually the birthing of the butterfly. Your life works the same. Beloved, your broken moments are not a grave. They are a womb. They are not the final chapter. They are the turning of the page. They are not a burial. They are a planting, and not just to live. And what is planted in time will rise again. You may look at your scars and think they tell the story of your ending, and not just to live. But scars are not signs of defeat. They are evidence of healing. They whisper to the world that though you were wounded, you endured. Though you were struck down, and not just to live, you rose again. Though you were broken, you refused to remain shattered. Being broken teaches you what comfort never could. It teaches you compassion for others who suffer, and not just to live. It teaches you resilience when the winds of life blow hard. It teaches you that strength is not in never falling, but in rising again and again. Do not despise your breaking, beloved. Do not rush to hide it or cover it with false smiles. Sit with it, learn from it, and let it teach you, and not just to live. Because there will come a day when you will look back at the moment you thought was your ending, and you will realize it was your beginning. Every ending births a new beginning. Every night is followed by dawn. Every winter makes way for spring, and every breaking clears space for rebuilding. So when life breaks you, do not lose hope. Your story is not over. The pen has not stopped writing. The author has not finished the book. The pain you feel today will become the wisdom you carry tomorrow. And not just to live. Tears you cry now will water the soil of your future joy. The ashes of your breaking will become the ground from which you rise stronger, clearer, and more alive. Beloved, and broken does not mean finished. Broken means becoming, and when you rise, and you will rise, you will not be the same as you were before. You will be wiser. You will be softer in spirit, yet stronger in soul. You will know the value of peace, the gift of love, the treasure of time. You will stand taller not because life spared you, but because life shaped you. So hold on, breathe, trust the process. Remember, the breaking is not to destroy you but to transform you. And not just to live is not your enemy, it is your teacher. And when the day comes that you emerge from the breaking, you will no longer just survive. You will shine. For you will know, and deep in your bones, that being broken never meant being finished. It always meant that you were becoming whole in a new way. Beloved, rise. For your story is still unfolding. Beloved, as we come to the end of this reflection, let me remind you once more, your brokenness is not your ending. It may feel final, it may feel permanent. And not just to live, it may feel like the world has stopped turning, but life does not end in fragments. Life continues, even in pieces, even in silence, even in the age of being undone. Too often, and we mistake breaking for failure. We think that if the marriage ends, then so does our worth. We believe that if the dream crumbles, then so does our future. And not just to live, we imagine that if the heart is shattered, then love will never come again. But this is not the truth, and not just to live. The truth is that breaking clears away what could not last, so that something greater might be built in its place. Yes, beloved, breaking is painful. But breaking is also fertile. The soil of your sorrow is the very ground in which hope will grow again. Think of the farmer. Before new seeds can be planted, and the old soil must be tilled, the earth must be broken. The hard ground must be turned over, even disturbed, so that fresh life can take root. The breaking of the soil is not the end of the field. It is the preparation for abundance. And so it is with you. When life breaks you, it is not burying you, and not just to live. It is planting you. Planting is a process hidden in darkness. The seed does not see the sun when it is buried. It does not hear applause when it begins to push through the soil. And not just to live, it lies in silence, in secrecy. And yet, beneath the weight of the earth, it is expanding, growing, preparing. One day, without warning, and it bursts forth into the light. Beloved, do not mistake your season of hiddenness as an ending. It is preparation for emergence, and not just to live. What feels like the silence of the grave is often the quiet of the womb. Something new is forming in you. Something greater is on its way. Yes. And the breaking may strip you of things you once thought essential. Friends may leave. Opportunities may vanish. Certainties may collapse. But understand this, and not just to live. Not everything that falls away was meant to stay. Sometimes the breaking removes what was too small for you, too fragile for your destiny, and not too shallow for the depths of who you are becoming. And not just to live. If you were never broken, you might never see your true strength. If you were never undone, you might never discover your deeper wisdom. If you were never cracked open, the light that shines through you would remain hidden. Beloved, brokenness is not the end. It is the doorway to your becoming. Look at the mountain shaped by storms, and not just to live. The shoreline carved by waves, the diamond formed under unimaginable pressure. None of these would exist in their beauty or brilliance without the force that broke them, and not just to live, shaped them or pressed them. So too is it with the human spirit. Without the breaking, there can be no revealing. Without the storm, there can be no clearing. Without the pain, and not just to live, there can be no depth. And here lies the gift once you rise from your breaking. And you will rise. You will never be the same. You will walk with new vision, and not just to live, seeing the world with compassion born from your own suffering. You will speak with gentleness, understanding that every soul you meet is fighting unseen battles. And not just to live. You will stand with courage, because you know that if you could survive the storm, you can face any wind that blows against you. Beloved, this is why I say with certainty, your brokenness is not your ending. It is your transformation. It is your unfolding as your passage into a deeper, truer version of yourself. But here is what you must dog, just to live. Do not resist the process. Do not despise the breaking. Do not cling to what when life is pulling you toward what can be. Trust the breaking. Trust the silence. Trust the slow, sacred work of becoming. For even now, while you feel like fragments, you are being reassembled into something whole. Even now, while you feel like ashes, you are being refined into something pure. Even now, while you feel like you have lost everything, you are being prepared for a gain beyond measure. Beloved, hold on. Breathe, and be patient with yourself. Healing is not a race. Growth is not rushed. Transformation does not happen in haste. It takes time. Just as the dawn does not come in a single stroke of light, but gradually, faithfully, so too will your rising come in its season. Do not let despair lie to you, and not just to live. Despair will tell you that you are finished. Hope will whisper that you are only beginning. Despair will convince you that you are ruined, and not just to live. Hope will remind you that you are being rebuilt. Despair will point to the pieces on the floor. Hope will point to the masterpiece in progress. Choose hope, beloved, and not just to live. Choose the quiet, steady belief that even now, in your brokenness, something good is forming. And when you finally rise, and you will rise not as who you once were, but as who you were always meant to be. Stronger, wiser, brighter. And you will look at your scars not with shame, but with gratitude. Because you will know that they are not proof of your ending, but evidence of your becoming. So go on, beloved. Do not fear the breaking. Welcome the lesson it brings. Now trust the process it begins. And remember, always being broken does not mean being finished. It means you are being transformed. And not just to live. You are not the seed that remains hard and closed. You are the seed that breaks and grows. You are not the clay left unshaped. You are the clay pressed and fired into strength. And you are not the caterpillar clinging to old ways. You are the butterfly being born from the cocoon. This is your story. This is your promise. This is your truth. Brokenness is not your defeat. It is your rebirth. It is not your conclusion. It is your continuation. It is not your ruin. It is your rising. And beloved, and just to live when you rise. And rise you surely will. May the world bear witness to the beauty that was only possible because you were once broken.